Whoop, whoop. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Medicare Cafe. I am here with my VP of Sales, Mr. Matt Carson.
I'm excited to be here. Been a long time. We are just talking about that. I
It
can't
has.
remember the last time I was on Medicare Cafe. It's been quite some time.
We were on the high chairs and didn't have this cool
That's what I was
background.
commenting on. The setup is totally different. I literally walked in and was like, oh, I don't know where I'm putting my laptop. I'm totally just discombobulated.
Yeah, but this is good. We're glad to have you here.
Excited to.
Yeah, so as y'all know, we're here every week. We're cutting out pre-chat because I wanted to get straight to business
Okay.
with my man Carson here. So, as you guys know, I'm Clayton Clemens. Feel free to text Olivia also. We were talking about that earlier. It's like she's not going to be here, but she was at the event that
She's
we're going to
either
talk
on an
about.
airplane or in an airport right now. So if you text her, I mean, she was at the event we were talking about, so she might answer your question, but she'll be like at least a little bit perplexed of like,
What are they talking
Uh-huh.
about? Just text her about tacos or something
yeah.
random.
Text her some random stuff. Really throw her for a loop
Yeah.
while she's walking through the airport.
I feel like that's fair to say of Olivia for like 80% of the time. She's either at an airport or on
Yeah,
an
that's
airplane.
fair. That's She's actually where we were last week. She's literally in Dallas again, so she's just setting up residency
Yeah.
at the DFW airport.
So, this is what we want to talk about. We wanted to talk about last week. It was last week, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep,
There-
Wednesday through Friday.
There was an event that Integrity hosted called Innovate.
Yes, sir.
So they call it Integrity Innovate, or was it just
Just
Innovate?
Innovate. Yep.
Big,
One
powerful
one
word. Yeah.
one word. When it's the right word, you just need one.
Integrity, Innovate.
Innovate. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So I wanted to talk to you about this because this was like a new event this year, correct?
Correct. Yeah. New event this year. Something that we, man, for like years have been talking about behind the scenes, and like to toot our own horn, we've been like clamoring about from our side of things, saying, agents go to all these different industry events, your Medicarians, your Medicare Con, your insert Medicare with a pun at the end of it events, and pay tons of money to go to all of these events. And we've been to a lot of them. Some of them are good, some of them are less good, some of them vary year to year, all this. And we've been saying, like, hey, within Integrity, like just within the Integrity family, like we have so many people that can share on great topics.
Right.
We have the keynotes. Like, again, many people are paying a lot of people within Integrity to go speak at all of these events. Why don't we just do one? Like, why don't we just bring all of
Yeah.
our agents in, have this be an Integrity thing, and like we have more than enough to talk about. Anyway, took a while to get to this point, but yes, this was the first year. It was small in Integrity
Yeah.
terms. This was a like select invite only type event that we got to do this year. So we each got very small number of agencies that we could invite under some pretty strict criteria. But it ended up being a total of, I think it was about 400
Wow.
agents that were in attendance this year. That was what they were shooting for based on the space they had. So that, and it was definitely, they filled what we had.
That's awesome. So this was not to like compare or steal from other conferences. What was like this in comparison to? Was it like you said, like
Yeah,
any
I
of those
mean, it was
Medicare
very much like
puns, but-
broad Medicare industry stuff. They tangented a little bit, and we can talk about that into like diversifying outside of Medicare. But like Medicare was definitely the core of the event.
Gotcha.
I would say the closest thing I can compare it to probably would be a Medicarians as far as the actual like topics, because again, that's another one that's just kind of like general all things Medicare. Like this wasn't specifically for roll up your sleeves agent or specifically scaling an agency or specifically tech. Like it was kind of broad across the industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, I hate this question, but like I have to know.
Okay.
Tell me the vibes.
The
What was
vibes.
the vibes there?
The vibes were impeccable. For one,
Perfect.
I would
Next
say
question.
if you haven't gotten the chance to experience Integrity hosting something with their brand on it, I could only compare it to like if you've ever stayed at like one of the very well known like 5-star hotels, like a Ritz Carlton, or something like that. Of just every single thing there. Like actually, I'm gonna totally butcher this quote. But Tom Dempsey basically said, like, the way that you do a thing is the way that you do everything, was kind of his quote of, like, the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
And Integrity very much embodies that with their events of, like, the way that you are setting up your registration, or the way that someone's name tags are handed out, or the way that a meal is presented is the way that everything is done at the event. So, like, all that to say, that's probably a terrible explanation, but, like, the amount of detail put into, like, a keynote speaker and, like, the main stage, that same level of detail is put into like every single piece of the experience that you're there. So that would be the first thing I would say, even down to I don't think we got a good way to share this, but it was at the Omni in Dallas, which is like a, I don't know, 20 or 30 story building, and it's got little LED lines that go between each floor that they can light up with different things. They had the Integrity logo like scrolling across the side of the building.
Nice. That's really cool.
During the after party on one of the nights there. The elevators had Integrity wrap branding on them. So like when you got to the elevators, like it was the Integrity eyes that opened in front of you when you were on the correct floor for everything there. I mean, like every little
To a
detail.
T,
Yeah. So and again, like I'm dwelling on small pieces there, but like again, if the small things are done right, you can imagine how well the big things are done.
Yeah.
The main stage, the details there. I mean, the production quality was incredible.
I was just laughing because I know that quote. It's like an old philosophy quote.
Yeah.
But I know it from John Wick
Ah.
because Winston says it.
All right. There you go.
I was like, it's how
Oh,
you
of
do
course.
it. Yes. Yes, of course.
Tom Dempsey, Winston,
Yeah.
John Wick.
Yeah.
Got it.
But no, like that's really cool. I've seen this before with like the way we've talked about how they do like agent meetings whenever
Yeah.
they have agents come to the office there.
If you've ever been to the home office, then like you really know what that feels like, which I know you haven't gotten the chance to be in there yet. We got to get an agency visit up there. But like
Yeah.
the level of detail is immaculate. And again, just, speakers were fantastic. I mean, basically heard from the entire C-suite at Integrity. So, I mean, 7 or 8 individuals from the C-suite, including Brian Adams, the CEO, had 2 like main speaking
Wow.
parts there. Tom Dempsey, who's the chief distribution officer, was the MC of the event. And then again, just basically the entire C-suite spoke. And then some other like just reputable names that, again, I mentioned like keynotes people would pay to come out. Like Patrick Bet-David is an Integrity partner, so he was one of the keynotes. Galen Hendricks, the Queen of the Bundle.
Oh yeah. Love Galen.
Travels across the country speaking. She had a piece of that. And then they also had James Lawrence was his name. He's the Iron Cowboy, if you want to look it up. He was kind of the motivational speaker piece of it, but the dude ran 101 Ironmans in 101 consecutive days, which I didn't know what an Ironman was because I am the farthest thing from someone who would compete in an Ironman. So if you don't know, it's a 2.8, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but like a 2.8 mile swim, then like 110 or 120 mile bike ride, and then a full marathon consecutively.
Average Saturday for me.
First, he did 30 in a year to break a Guinness Book of World Records. Then he did 50 in 50 states on 50 consecutive days. 50 different states, Hawaii and Alaska included, correct. Then a couple years later, he did 101 on 101 consecutive days that he coordinated himself in his hometown. And he broke his back on like day 40 and kept going. Brian Adams heard him speak at some big conference that was like, he's like, I'm not going to drop names, proceeds to drop names, but like Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and like that was the name he mentioned. He's like, at the end of this, Jamie Dimon was like, I've never met someone who made me feel like my life is so insignificant than after I listened to this guy talk about what he's doing. So anyway, it was very cool.
I'm such a baby that literally traveling to each 50 states, I'm like, oh, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, but this guy wasn't like, if you're, I was going into it kind of picturing this was going to be like a David Goggins type. If you've seen his stuff, which is very like,
why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, which is like just, again, not me. I'm not a workout guy, any of those things. It was furthest from that. It was very much like positive mental attitude and like, you're gifted to be able to do these things. So like, don't complain about things, enjoy what you're given. He did it with his kids. He raised a bunch of money for charity. It was very different than I expected it to be in a positive way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you about some, I guess, I don't want to go so broad yet, but with like the key takeaways, but like what was something that agents, either you saw everyone's phone going up, you saw pins going crazy on paper. What was one like huge thing that was talked about there?
So many things. It's really hard to say one. I would say there was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, like each person who came from the C-suite, like each kind of had their area to talk about in that there. And my notes just freaking died in front of me here, of course, because I wasn't clicking on them. Don't mind me unlocking my computer so I can read my notes again. So like a couple things I think were big there. The tech was talked about a lot. So they had Hirsch Singla, the chief technology officer, and Saeed, whose last name is escaping me, who's the COO, chief operational officer, if I remember correctly, up there talking about Integrity Connect and some of the things coming to that. A few new things that were announced with that was open API integrations, which drew like huge applause from everyone. So like they've already got it built out for Agency Block is one of the first ones that they were doing. So they'll have an open integration with Agency Block, but it's an open API feed. So as long as you, the agent, or whatever other third-party software you're working with are willing to, this is like so far above my head when I'm saying I don't even know what API stands for. But like as long as you're willing to put the work in there, it is an open API feed and can work with like any system that you want to use with it. That's new and that's huge because Integrity has been very much closed loop. Oh,
I was gonna say,
Alex is hooking me
Alex,
up here.
For the people at home that don't know
no,
what
Alex.
API,
I mean, obviously that's an application programming interface. Of course, is what an
of
API
course,
is.
obviously, that's just for everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, that was big.
Who doesn't know?
And again, like Agency Block is already like that exists. That is there. If you have Agency Block, you can now integrate that into Integrity Connect, so you can use Connect for your enrollments and all the AI features and drug list onboarding and all those, but still maintain your own CRM.
That's awesome.
And again, you can do that with other ones as well. Just that one's already
That's
built. Like that
yeah,
one's
that's like the
plug
main
and play.
one
I
talk
think.
to. Yeah.
Again, I am
Yeah.
not the tech guy. That was big. They talked a lot about some of the AI things. So like document upload has been asked for a ton of times by agents.
Yeah.
So you now have the ability to upload documents, but not just upload the documents. It will do if you've ever uploaded something into ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whatever you use there and said like, "Hey, here's a 70-page document. Summarize this for me." It will do that, and
Wow.
it will enter it appropriately into the correct client profiles on things. So, for example, like if you upload a paper policy that you had from like something you didn't write through Integrity Connect, let's say, but you uploaded the policy documents into there, it would populate that into the correct places
Wow.
in Integrity Connect for you. So like if you uploaded an MA app that you had not actually done through
Dang.
Integrity Connect, it would add that information. Again, it's AI, so like if your handwriting sucks or whatever, like it's not going to be perfect, like garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
That's the one tech thing I know. But anyway, it will read through that stuff for you and appropriately enter it into the right places.
That's really
so
cool.
that's a big deal. And then this has been out there, but they were really highlighting it, the AI like call coaching and the insights that you can get. So if you're doing the recordings through Integrity Connect for your call recordings there, or you can just record a live appointment also. It doesn't have to be a virtual to do that. It will give you insights and coaching based on what you've done in that. So
Dang.
that's a feature that you're able to turn on in there as well.
That'd be really cool, especially for like an agency that has a lot of downlines.
That's
It's
exactly
like,
what they highlighted it for.
hey,
Like
like
if you're bringing on a new agent, like this is something that Integrity has curated and learned, like using their own career shops, their own call centers to kind of build out the AI, I guess.
Yeah.
And it will give insights to your agents if you choose to.
Man. Okay.
Yeah.
So did they give you like live walkthroughs? Like, did you get to see?
No,
these
this
kind of
was
things, or
very
you
much like like there was so much. This was basically 2 days worth. It was like half day, full day, half day, and they were covering so many different things. Like this whole tech thing was 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. So it was a lot of like boom, boom, boom
Just
content,
quick,
which I think was well received. And yep, same thing. If we were gonna sit here, like we could make this entire thing about Integrity Connect, but we've got hours worth of content we've put out there. So they were just kind of sticking to the high points.
Yeah.
So that was cool. A lot of industry stuff as well. So just kind of, state of the industry, both from a legislative standpoint, like they had Janie Rothman, who's the chief legal counsel. She was up there talking about the work that Integrity is doing from a legislative standpoint. So both at a local and a national level, what they're doing with our lobbying firm, which is now called Horizon, if I remember correctly. It was a different name and it's now changed. Horizon might be the old name. Anyway. But they were talking about that, really their kind of campaign with the Americans for Beneficiary Choice, or ABC coalition that they built a few years ago, which, if you're not familiar, like that was what got the bad final rule of 2 years ago that was trying to eliminate overrights commission from everything and say that like agents should work direct to carrier, eliminate all distribution model. ABC is what got that kicked out and kind of fought to keep the distribution model intact. Anyway, they're doing a lot more with that now, but their whole campaign is all around making the agent the hero.
Yeah.
So the idea being a lot of the legislators that are proposing these bills are talking about these things, such as Dr. Oz's automatic enrollment in Medicare, or senators who don't fully understand what they're saying when they paint agents as the bad guy. Integrity is very much saying like, we have nothing to hide. Come, we will show you everything. Like they've brought many legislators out to the home offices or to the local sites of different integrity partners and said, like, we want to show you what we do for agents and what agents do for the consumer. Like, we are an open book. You need to see all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be educated on this if you're trying to make a
Big
policy decision.
rulings
Correct.
about all this.
You need to understand what that actually impacts and how this is going to negatively impact your constituents, your voters, if you try to eliminate the distribution model or agents from this cycle. So that's really the whole piece there. But that's something they're trying to do a lot more in the daylight, where that's kind of been a behind the scenes thing a lot more. They're trying to get a lot more, again, just open about that, sharing with agents more what they're doing, making that much more of a thing. So that was cool.
And that's where that's now Chalen's new boss,
Yeah,
correct?
correct. Yeah, so
'Cause
Chalen
you all know
Jackson,
Chalen. That's why I want to
been on here many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chalen, as of March, sometime in March, is now officially an integrity employee. So he's the VP of Government Affairs or VP of Government Relations.
I think affairs. Yeah.
Yeah, a VP of Government Affairs. So yeah, he now reports to Janie Rothman, the chief legal counsel at Integrity.
Shout out our boy
So he's
Chalen.
yeah, he's very like, I don't know. I could walk back there. He's probably not here today because he's probably out meeting with someone
I think you're
impacting
right.
this right now. So that was there. Let's think. Other just like general industry updates, we heard from a bunch of different perspectives. So we heard about it from the COO. We heard about it from the chief strategy officer, Gabe Isaacson, who came over from McKinsey. So he's has been on the consulting side of things, so sees all industries, not just insurance. So he spoke about what the Medicare and the health insurance market looks like relative to like an investor or to Wall Street. So we heard that. We heard from Deft Research, who does all of the consumer data
Yeah,
polling.
those are
So
great
George Dipple
reports.
got up there and shared those. We heard a MedSup market update from AC Chapman of, I would say, of AIMC. I guess AIMC really is just Integrity, just Integrity proprietary now.
Yeah.
So got to hear updates from all of them. I wrote down some stats that I thought were interesting. So from the COO, Saeed, he said, since 2019, I thought this was a very interesting statistic. The bottom 50% of agents are writing half as much business, but the top 5% of agents are writing 4 times as much business since 7 years ago. So I think that speaks to the right agents who are adapting are seeing way more volume, way more success than ever before. But that kind of loud minority, that bottom 50%, is writing less. So like, yes, for half of the agents, the bottom half of the agents, they are writing half as much business. So like, yes, there are a lot of people out there that are experiencing negative changes from this, but that's been consolidated to that top 5% of agents who have adjusted to what the market has done. They're writing 4 times as much as they were in 2019. So I think that just speaks to, and the point they were making with that was the right agents who are making the right adjustments, who are investing in this market, who see it for what it is and aren't panicking, are doing very, very well with this.
Yeah.
It's those that are choosing not to adjust, and in our opinion, that are making up that bottom 50%, and those are the ones that are getting out of the market, or if they're not getting out of the market, are just not seeing growth. And again, are the ones that are, I would say, kind of the loud minority online of, there's a lot of people who are complaining that everything's bad, woe is me. That is true from their perspective, but there's more business being written overall. It's just
they're
not
not
being written
wrong,
by them.
but they're wrong.
Yeah.
That they're using these kind of the changes or the challenges as opportunities, like the top 5% versus just.
I mean, it's the classic, like, you get to choose how you react to something. Like, you don't get to choose what happens to you. You get to choose how you react to it. You can become a victim of circumstance and say, everything in life is bad for me because of all these external factors. There will always be people like that. Or you can be one of the people who says, I can't control what happens. I can control how I react to it. All of these changes that happen, I can choose to look at as an opportunity. I can choose to grow through these changes. So I think that was a good one.
Sounding like my therapist right now.
A couple other ones that I heard was from the CSO, Gabe Isaacson. Again, came over from McKinsey about a year ago. Was a partner at McKinsey before that. So again, his perspective is one of kind of that Wall Street investor perspective of all industries. Like, does not have an insurance background. And he was very much sharing how the health insurance space is incredibly appealing to investors, to Wall Street right now. They all want to be in this space. Excuse me. All want to be in this space. the disruption that's happening is not seen as a negative at that level. So again, that's kind of that bottom 50%, top 5% mindset there.
You're like, ooh.
He pointed out that Integrity is backed by 3 different PE firms. All 3 are the only 3 that Integrity has ever had, and all 3 are still involved. So, the original firm is coming up on 10 years as a minority investor, which is not common in the private equity space. Typically, a PE firm is in for 3 to maybe 5 years. They get a multiple on their money, they get out, move on to the next thing. They're coming up on 10 years, and they have had 2 other investors come in, one 7 years in, one 5 years in. So that original investor has had the chance twice to exit if they wanted to and chose not to. They said, no, we want to stay in this because we still believe in how much more future there is in this. Again, that second investor came on 7 years ago. They also had a chance to exit when the third one came on 5 years ago, and they also said, no, we're going to ride this out. We think there's a lot more to come. And the most recent one, Silver Lake, is coming up on 5 years being invested in Integrity, and is very much in this for, I can't speak to what their future plans are, but like
They're in for
5 years is kind of when most people would expect to see a PE firm get out, and we've not, I'm not hearing anything about them trying to get out. So again, I know it's not completely applicable to if I'm an agent, but I think you could kind of read the tea leaves on that of this is a space that 3 major, very profitable PE firms, Silver Lake being a tech PE firm, like they're the company that took Dell private. They're the ones that turned Airbnb into what it is, took Skype, turned it into what it is. There's like, they're not even in the insurance space. So it's not like they're just biased to insurance. Like they're a tech investor who is choosing to put up over $1 billion in 2021 into Integrity and are choosing to stay in. If those people are seeing this as a positive market to be in and a good place to be, I'm gonna go with the opinion that they have a lot more data to back that up than what I do. I'm gonna follow their lead that this is a good place to be. And then he also mentioned just a lot of interest right now in acquiring blocks of business.
Right.
I was referring to this to a couple of our agents at our key accounts retreat a few weeks back as how they talk about how fortunes are made during times of recession when you look at the stock market. So 2008, 2009, those types of eras. I'm trying to think the right way to phrase this, but new money, for lack of a better term, investors can panic sometimes during that. But investors that are in this for the long haul, that's where they make their money. That's where the Warren Buffetts of the world and people like that, they double down and they buy more. They buy the dip, if you've ever heard that phrase before. I've heard Tony Robbins talk about any other thing in the world, when it goes on sale, you get excited. Like, if a shirt goes on sale, a car goes on sale, a house goes on sale. Like when the market is down with anything else, you go, oh, this is the time to buy. I want to buy that. Like, I've wanted this thing for a while. Now it's on sale. I'm going to buy it. But for whatever reason, a lot of people, when the stock market is down, go, oh, the stock market's bad, and they sell everything instead, which, again, any educated investor knows is a bad move. Where I'm going with this, to tie my story back around, is I feel that way a lot, and this is kind of Gabe's message of the Medicare space right now. We're seeing a lot of people panic and get out of the space. A lot of people selling, and panic's maybe not the right word. For some people, it's just, I've been in this long enough, I've made enough money, I don't want to change and adapt to these. It's time for me to ride off into the sunset, and like, good for you, you freaking earned it. But there are definitely some people who are more panicky. Like they've only been in the space for a few years, and they're just like, nope, I want to get out of this. Well, investors and Integrity and senior marketing specialists, we're all looking at this as the time to buy. Multiples are down right now on acquiring a block of business from where they were 2 or 3 years ago because of so much of the uncertainty in the commissions and things like that right now. We're using this as the time to buy. So is Integrity, so are the institutional investors, because we're saying we believe in this market in the long term. If I was excited to buy it at a higher multiple a couple years ago, I still believe in this for the long term. Why would I not be more excited to buy now at on sale on a sale price? So if you're someone who's wanting to grow, acquiring blocks of business is a very good investment right now. Again, assuming you're doing your due diligence, the right numbers, like as with anything, not investment advice, do your due diligence, yada yada. But very much a space to grow. A couple deft stats also. I'm just ranting, so cut me off at any point here.
I love this.
Okay, a couple deft stats that I thought were cool. So deft, if you're not familiar, Deft Research does consumer surveys. So they're not working with the insurance carriers or with the agents. I mean, they provide that data to them, but they work directly with the consumer to poll them on their buying habits and their behaviors. So Like their most popular study that many people have seen cited is their MA switching study that they do each year. So they shared that chart up on the stage, and that was definitely a every cell phone came
Oh
out
yeah.
moment. So for the last 10 years until these last two AEPs, we've seen somewhere in like a 10 to 15% switching rate every AEP. Like 11 to 14, I think was technically the range that they had seen from like 2000, let's say 2015 or so until like 2024. These last two AEPs, we saw an increase 2 years ago from 13, 14% up to, I think it was 23%. And this past year, 29%
Mm.
switching rate during AEP. So we've doubled the amount of people. Again, we're going from 10 to 15 to, essentially 30% switching
And these are ones
rate.
that are actually switching. their
Actually
plan.
switching. These are
Yeah.
how many people switch. This is based on them polling MA age consumers of how many of you switched your plan this AEP, and 29% switched. So that's a telling statistic. Again, many agents would be able to back this up with their own evidence of this.
Look at your book of business.
Right, we had 2.8 million plans SAR last year, service area reduction and lose coverage. So that's a big change that we've seen. He did say like we feel like we're kind of reaching peak or valley depending on which way you want to look at that, but like we do think we're kind of reaching the bottom of things here as far as like benefits collapsing and degradation on plans. Like there will be more degradation this year, to be clear,
Yeah.
but we think we are kind of reaching. He used the example of like the bell curve. Like we're approaching that bell curve moment on things. He feels like so. We're near the bottom point on benefits and probably the top point on switching rates. To see it similar to last year would not be unexpected, but we don't expect to see a much higher number this year like we have the last couple. So, that stability is getting closer. We're not there yet, but we're nearing that point. They also had some interesting stats that pointed to another key point that was brought up was ancillary, or as we're trying to refer to them now, necessary products. It is necessary to be bringing up more than just someone's core benefits. So one of the stats that they shared there was, again, this is a consumer study survey that they did. Less than 17% of consumers said that their agent brought up any additional products other than dental, vision, hearing. That was the only one that was higher than that. Those were somewhere in like the 30 to 60% range. But other than that, less than 17% of people said that any other products have been brought up to them by their agent.
Just
and not like
brought
on your
up.
most recent appointment, like in your time working with a Medicare agent, less than 17% of people said that any other products had been brought up. And they broke it down by product type. 17 was the highest of those. Some were single digits. Interesting here is what they shared. They then did a survey where they polled consumers on how likely they were to refer or recommend their agent to someone else, 1 through 10. The people who rated their agents a 9 or a 10 as likely to refer, they looked at the correlation between that and how many products their agent brought up with them. This was a new stat that I had not seen. And agents who had brought up, or clients, I guess I should say, clients who had more than 3 products outside of their core Medicare plan presented to them were 30% more likely to refer that agent to someone than the ones who had less than 3 products brought up. So I thought that was a pretty cool statistic and one that I will definitely be trying to get some mileage out of. So
For sure, because
I'll
we know
reiterate
how,
that because that was a lot of numbers there, but you are 30% more likely to be referred by your client if you present 3 or more non-MA sup products on the appointment. And this is, again, not a industry said. This is consumer buying behavior. They polled Medicare consumers on how likely you were to refer your agent, and then separately on how many products were brought up. And the ones that had more than 3 products brought up rated themselves as 30% more likely to refer that agent.
some of our like top agents are just purely referral based anymore.
Yes.
So it's like
almost all. I'd say 90% of our top agents.
Yeah, if you can just say, okay, how can I increase that? It's like, I just need to talk about 3 products with them, and I get a 30% increase. You don't have to close those.
And
You're
it's
talking
like
about
all
just
the things. Like
you're bringing those up,
100%,
right?
and like it sets you apart because again, as I just shared, less than 17% of appointments were more than that. So like you will stand out from your competition there. It helps protect your consumers. Like I think everyone here very much agrees that the costs are going up. Out of pocket sharing is higher for clients right now. There's more exposure than ever. So like there's a need from that standpoint. It we just shared, more referable. We've got all the stats on retention, all of those things. And then like, oh, by the way, also you make a lot more money every time you sell these products. So like, and you'll make more money at the time. So again, anyone who's spent a minute listening to us knows this is not new news from us, but that was a different statistic that I had heard on that definitely
Different angle,
that
for
was
sure.
a cell phones out taking pictures of the slide moment for sure. And I know the group of agents we took, we have one who is really, really good at cross-selling in that group, all of the others saying, I want to be a lot better at cross-selling, and all of them were very much like, I got to get on this.
So was there, because we're running long on or short on time, I guess.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, is there anything that we would want people to know that they like, basically like new information that people were brought at the event?
I have one more thing on some marketing statistics that Ann Wood was sharing, not even statistics, but just like research. So Ann Wood is the chief marketing officer. She originally had ran Thomas Arts, that was one of the Integrity acquisitions. So she shared a couple marketing updates. So I'm just going to read through these very quickly because some of these I think were very relevant to agents. One, they spoke about just different types of marketing. First one was direct mail. They mentioned how efficiency is dropping, which like we all know returns are lower, all that. But they feel, and like we still spend heavily on it because it is still viable if two things are true. One, you have a very strong list. So either you're marketing to a current client list, some sort of strategic partnership where like you have a client list to work with there, local community connection, maybe something like that, and you have a very strong call to action. The days of the black and white mailers don't deliver anymore. You need a very strong, tangible call to action for them to act on it. So that was one thing. They also mentioned that letters are dramatically outperforming postcards now.
Nice.
So like, I don't say long form, but like, more personalized letter format versus the glossy postcard is what they're seeing better returns on. Mentioned email should only be relied upon for current client communication. They are fully out on using email for prospecting. They said basically just the risk reward is not worth it. It's very low success rate. You just get spammed, and the risk is very high to get slapped with some sort of violation. And then they also talked about core recruitment channels for agents. So if you're someone who's trying to recruit agents to work with you, they gave 4 core channels: virtual events, content marketing, email marketing, and in-person events. So I thought that was interesting, of like events being 2 of those and then marketing being 2 of those. So like kind of that balance between those 2 things of like continuously keeping yourself in front of them with, content, social media, emails, etc. And then events, like the live events, whether virtual or in person, were a core part of that. So sorry, just wanted to hit that area. That was maybe the newest news category that we had there.
So is this an event, because you said it was invite only this year. Is this something they're wanting to open up?
Yeah, so it's going to be bigger. I don't know specifics on if it will be completely open invitation next year, or if we'll just be able to extend more invitations. I will tell you, every agency that we took was very much telling us, I'm going back next year. Like if I can go back, I'm going to. They got a lot out of it. So yes, I know the intent is to run it back again next year. We don't have exact, but they mentioned potentially doing a little bit earlier in the year. I'm thinking maybe like March is what they had in mind. Nice. But yes, I know the goal is to scale this over the next couple of years and eventually have this be a much more open invitation style event. I don't know if that will happen just from this year to next, or if we'll kind of graduate into that. But yes, if you are an agent,
the plan is this is expanding.
Correct. If you're an agent in the next few years, at least, this is something that will probably be open to you. And if you want it to be open to you for next year, definitely be letting us know so that we can have you on our list again. I don't know if we will get open invitation or if we're going to have to hand select people again next year, but all the agents we took, which were all very successful agents, got a lot out of it. And that seemed to be the consensus that I heard.
Okay. You're a very serious man with great information. So I'm going to make you do something silly now.
Okay.
What was the most entertaining or fun part of the event that has nothing to do with stats or numbers or basically anything that you love and enjoy?
All right, I got one here. One, the entertainment was quite enjoyable. They had some guy do this like laser dance at dinner. They had like a stage in the middle, and like it looked.
It was Alex, right?
It looked campy at first because like they ran the fog, and then there was like lasers coming from the thing, but he was like dancing with them, so it looked like he was like moving laser beams around. It was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But right before that, we got to hear Tom Dempsey, our chief distribution officer, like just go a cappella on Rapper's Delight, which is like one of his party tricks, is that he can go bar for bar. And he did, like right before dinner. He's like, if you don't know, this is something I do. He's like, yeah, you guys want to hear a couple bars? And he's like, you know, it's about to go down because I switched my microphone grip from like down here to he does like the top
The
grip.
tilt, yeah.
And he did. He was literally like, and just like went in on it. And that definitely got the roars of applause because like if you can Google Tom Dempsey, but he's very well dressed, buttoned up, professional, like wearing the the nice
Hitting
dude.
Rapper's Delight.
100%, like the last guy that you expect to switch up the microphone stance and just start dropping bars. But that's his party trick. I've gotten to see that a couple times, and like it definitely drew quite a round of applause from the room.
That's awesome. All right,
Tom's cool dude.
Carson, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us on the cafe today. We have to have you back on more often.
Anytime. I mean, I'm physically located 30 feet that direction, so it's not too bad of a commute.
Yeah, you're right. But, it's the whole thing. We have to walk over there and talk to you.
I get it. Like, I don't know that I would want me on here all the time either. I understand. Okay.
No, thank you so much for sharing about the event. I hope this opens up to more people because I've heard the excitement that we had leading up to it. And then seeing pictures, hearing you talk about it, like it just sounds like what we do with some of our events or have done in years past, but like to an integrity level of performance.
Yeah, and a lot more.
Oh my God.
And a lot more opportunity for networking. So it's not just our agents; it's all integrity partners. So like the networking opportunity to go talk to other successful agency owners is like top tier.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I don't think we have any questions on the live chat. You guys are amazing as always. We will be back next week, but until then, have fun,
make money,
and give impeccable service. Thank you all. See ya.